It's still be on the beat.
NinjaFlavor.com.
Hi everyone, this is your girl here, Jaden. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. Today it's another beautiful day. I'm hoping this would speak to you, speak to your friends, speak to your family, and as such I expect you to share, to like, and to subscribe to my channel. Please do, guys. I want us to grow together. Today, I want us to talk about something slightly different. Remember, I told you some days I would come back with mental health, some other days I could come up with something different, but I am not going to go too far away. I would always eventually have some sort of connection to mental health, because for me that's the narrative, that's my passion, that's what I love to do. And at some point I would tell you guys why it has become so I have become so passionate about mental health, and why I am so desperate, if you like, to share the story, to get people to talk about it. So back to my video today. I want us to, if you'd like, see this video as a toolkit. You have come to the mechanic now with your car. You have brought your car to the mechanic. You want the mechanic to, the engineer, if you'd like, to look at your car and to tell you how healthy your car is, how roadworthy it is, how safe it is for you to drive that car. So in the same manner, I've just used that as an example. So what I'm trying to do today is to gauge our development, to check how growing up we are getting, to you and I to have a conversation around why we think we're growing up, because I've spoken about this in so many of my videos. Life is evolving, and the implication is that we all have to grow. We all have to develop. And I said it the last time, it doesn't have to be in the four walls of a university. You don't need to go back to university. You don't need to go back to formal education. We learn every day. We learn when we listen to other people, depending on who you're listening to. That's the caveat here. We learn when we read anything. When I say anything, as long as it's in print, trust me, if you have the right mindset, if you have the right attitude, even something you've read in the past, when you read it again, you would have a different outlook. You know, so back to the conversation again. Guys, I don't want to go off track. I want us to measure our development. This is not particular to women. This can also benefit men, anybody, as long as you're growing up, as long as you're making changes. I know that when the year started, people come up with lots and lots of plans, you know, resolutions, New Year resolutions. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Most of the times, we don't even remember before the first quarter of the year. Most people forget those resolutions. And you don't have to wait till the beginning of the year. That's where we get it wrong again. Every day is a new opportunity. Every day you wake up, you have to have an action plan. You have to say to yourself, this is a new day. What do I have to do today? What do I want to achieve today? Moving forward, how do I want to live my life? How do I want things to happen for me? It is your life, not anybody else's. You don't owe anyone any explanation. I've said this again and again. You don't need anyone's validation. Yes, it's okay if you have support network, if you have your protective factors, your families, genuine friends, and people who can cheer you on, spur you on. However, at the end of the day, it is your decision. You have to say to yourself, I am going to go now. So let's get back to, I've written, I think about 10 to 12 points that would help you measure your growth, measure your development, check whether or not you're making progress. Tell yourself where you need to make some changes. This is what I do, and I'm hoping it's going to benefit you. So the first thing is to be honest with yourself. Very important, guys. If you can't tell yourself the truth, you can't tell anyone else the truth. You have to understand that. You have to recognize that honesty is key. If you have lack in your life, you and you alone will tell yourself, you know what? I need to develop in this area. It's like someone who is not able to drive for whatever reason. You know you cannot drive. You know that for you to have a driving license, you need to go to train, you need to practice, you need to learn and apply for the license and eventually become able to drive. So we cannot deceive ourselves. If you know you're eating too much, it doesn't matter what you tell me. You can tell me you've been on water diet for the last 1 week. You can tell me, oh, you're vegan, you're vegetarian, but at the end of the day, the results aren't the same. So we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to tell ourselves the truth. We have to come to the point where we say, you know what, hands up, I take responsibility. Be happy to take responsibility. Understand that you are the reason XYZ is still happening in your life. You are the one that is responsible for still allowing this type of things to go on in your life, in your space. Be honest with yourself. I am not frugal. I am not responsible with my money. The reason I finish my salary even before the second week of the month is because of my lifestyle. It's because I don't keep this money. It's because I'm always shopping. It's because, tell yourself the truth. If you open your wardrobe, for example, and you see loads and loads and loads, don't make excuses. Just tell yourself, you know what? This has to stop. It is me. You see, if you're someone who would not create at least 10 minutes of your day to open a book, whatever form, tell yourself, you know what? I am not aware. I lack in this area because I haven't made out time to develop. Tell yourself the truth. Point number one. The point number two is to think with a rational mind. Most of us think with our emotional mind. We get upset, we exhaust ourselves for most of the times things that we shouldn't, because we want everyone to see things from our perspective. We want everyone to support our feelings. We want everyone to tell us, yes, it's okay. We want yes members around us. We think with our rational, oh, why would she react like this? Oh, why would he say that to me? Oh, why would he not appreciate me? No, that other person has their own filters. We all have our own filters. There are things that make us who we are. We have our genetics. I had mentioned the last time, our genes from our parents. That's why one person is lighter, another person is darker. We have things we've taken from our family, from our parents, our grandparents. And then we have our environments, the place we are, the friends we keep, the associations we make. And also we have our belief system, our core values. There are people who would tell you, I would never kill someone, whatever the situation, even in self-defense. For them, that's their core value. But another person would tell you, you know what? I don't care. So there are people who will not eat certain food. These are core values. These are things people believe in. It's okay. We have to be open-minded. We have to be rational. We have to expect people to be diverse, to have different views and different opinions. I would not see things your way, And then we have our faith. Some people are so deep-rooted in their faith, their religion, that it forms the core being, their core being. It affects everything they do. It doesn't matter what you say to them. So there are factors. And then education, environment, these are the things that contribute to eventually make us who we become. And very importantly, life experiences, which is why I had talked in the past about growing up, about children, how we support children to give them the platform to have very little bad life experiences and as many positive experiences they can have growing up, because all these things will follow them. Children would eventually become adults someday, and those experiences they have growing up will form who they become. So these are the things that inform who will become in the future. So we have to understand all this. You know, for someone who for example, had a bad experience with a particular group of people, anytime there's a conversation around those group of people, you will see that person become uncomfortable. You never know where everybody's coming from. You never know people's experiences. So without spending too much time on the second point is to think with our rational mind. Number 3 is not very popular, guys. Are you able to say no? Can you say no to a friend? Can you say no to your mom? Remember, we are measuring growing up. We're measuring development. We're checking our advancement. Are we making progress? Are we changing? Are we getting better? You know, not necessarily older. This is where we get it wrong. Old age is beautiful. Age experience is the best teacher in life. However, the stage and the life we live today, people can actually develop at any stage of their lives. So another very important point, which I have called number 3 here, is, are you able to say no? Some of us do not know how to say no. Some of us cannot say no. Some of us find ourselves in a constricting environment. You struggle even when it is not convenient, even when it doesn't make sense to say yes. We still see ourselves saying yes. You don't have money, or you have money mapped out for something. Another person walks up to you. Oh, Uche, can you give me this? Oh, Jaden, can you give me this? Oh my God. Oh, how did she know? Oh my God, how can I say no? Guys, you have to learn to say no. In fact, this will change your life. Say no and don't burn bridges. Say no and still stay happy. In fact, say no and the next minute you're the one calling the person. How are you? Sis, can I come in for a weekend? My family is visiting London. Can I? If it is not convenient, guys, I'm so sorry, my dear. I would love to. Inconvenient for me now. I hope you find somewhere else to stay. There are hotels. There are cheap hotels around where we live. There are cheap hotels in our area. I don't know if you have access to the internet. I can help you search to find alternative arrangements, or tell me how you get on. Are you able to call other people? Guys, it is okay. Because what happens? You will not be happy. Even though you've said yes to that friend, she is going to inconvenience you. You are not happy. You will be resentful. And before you know it, you pick up issues. Oh, you don't like the way she's keeping her bag. Oh, you don't like the way she's dropped. Oh, the kids are making noise. Oh, this one is happening. Remember, you said yes. That your friend or that other person would have conveniently gone to look for an alternative. The same happens with any other thing. When things are not convenient, someone wants to visit or someone wants you to attend a party. If you don't feel like it, guys, you don't owe anybody. You know what you will do? I'm so sorry. Do not keep that thing in your mind. Do not inconvenience your mind, because you will not even be doing a good job around that person. You will not be happy. It's being hypocritical. Say no and stay happy. Oh, Mom, I promised you this money by the end of the month, but I'm so sorry. I can no longer afford to. Oh, I wanted to be in America to see you, but as it is now, I have had to prioritize XYZ. You know that Ashebi that I promised I was going to be part of, I would really, really love to, but as it is now, I can no longer make it. I hope you guys have fun. I know you will look beautiful in your own outfit. Send me the pictures when you're done. Guys, it's okay. Just relax. No hard feelings. Don't put pressure on yourself. A colleague of mine then was having the daughter was having a wedding. It was a big thing. People were, the money they wanted to raise, it was so much, it didn't make sense to me just for a one-day event. I'm not saying that's not important to her, but for me, because of where I was at the time financially, it would have been a stress. It would have been a lot of pressure on myself. But there were lots of colleagues who felt like if you had to borrow, you go and borrow just to make a colleague happy. I said, no. I told the woman, I'm happy to come for your daughter's wedding, but I'm not going to wear any ashebi. Is it a problem for you? She said, no, having your presence, it means a lot. I went. I didn't wear any ashebi and nothing happened. And I was happy. And people were complaining. People were moaning. Oh, the material is this. Oh, she went to Dubai. She bought this, that. And she sold it at this rate. She was using us to make money. But you knew all this. You were not under gunpoint. You have the power to choose. It's part of growing up. Say no and be happy. For your own sanity, for your own mental well-being. You don't live your life to please anybody. It's all about you, guys. So that is the next point. Now we're coming down to, again, another not so popular point. Can you take criticisms? I have a very good friend who is very supportive. When I published my first video, I think my first or second, I rang her and I said, babe, have a look at this and tell me what you think. She came back to me. She was very honest. She was very open. She told me, I am so proud of you. I love that you've done this. I love that you've done this. I love that you've done this. But next time, you need to think about this. You need to do this. You need to do that. You shouldn't have done this. She was one of the people who mentioned about time, about having this put in. You know what? I was happy. I wanted to hear the good, the bad, and the ugly. Are we able to take criticisms? And when I made the subsequent videos, I had to incorporate those feedback she gave me. How do you feel when you hear negative criticisms? Sometimes you even need your enemy to wake you up, to say some things about you. That's the truth. Oh my gosh, she's grown so fat. I want to hear it. You know what you're doing for me? Next week, I'm going to activate my gym membership because of your criticisms. You don't want people who will say only the nice things just because you're there. Sometimes you want to hear the other side, the negatives, so you can run with it and make changes. Be open-minded. Oh, thank you so much. You know what? I'm going to think about it. Especially when those criticisms are constructive, when they're not destructive. You know when someone has your interest at heart, someone that is advising you. So that is very important. Family, friends, work colleagues, expect feedbacks. Feedbacks help us to grow, When you have a relationship breakdown with anybody, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your family, your brother, you have a conversation. Most times when I finish making calls, I drop my phone and I think. I try to call back some of the conversations. Have I said something wrong? How have I fared? What colleagues? When I come back the next day, I would have slept over it. Sometimes I even surprise them. Hey, that conversation yesterday was difficult. I've thought about it. I'm sorry. You know what you're telling yourself? You're empowering yourself. You're telling that person that you're different from others. You're taking responsibility. You're showing growth, development. You're telling, because when there are two people, you can never exonerate yourself from faults, from mistakes. We are all humans. We are all prone to err. So let's be open about criticisms. The fifth point is, guys, what I call rule number 1, very important. Are you able to keep it under your heart? You know that dream you have. You know that desire. You know that plan. It's called a plan for a reason. Keep it under your heart. That means zip it. It can be very tempting to share too much. But when we share too much, when we overshare, what we do is we open the floodgates. I think I've made reference to that in my video. I think it's what are you afraid of? If you haven't seen that video, trust me. Myself, sometimes I watch it again and again and I feel empowered. We have to learn to keep it under our heart. It's a plan, guys. Go to the mirror and stand, watch yourself and say to yourself, talk to yourself about the plan. The only person you should be talking to about your plan is your God, your maker. Unless you need someone's input, unless it's not something you can do without having another person make contribution. If it is something that is growing, if it is something, because you don't want people to make you influence your decisions. And this is important because I always say that we are all humans. That person that is giving you his or her own opinion is not even sure of himself. She is not even sure where she is with her own developmental goals. So how much more impacting on the decisions I make? The person I'm going to share those dreams with, where are they? How far have they gone in achieving their own dreams? How honest are they? I don't want us to be paranoid here, but I want us to have that mindset of being self-sufficient. If you have something you're nurturing, make an effort, make a start. It's still premature. That's not when to start talking about it, because you have people discourage you. You have people sow a different seed in your head and it begins to germinate. So that is point number 5. Now we go to point number 6. Say no to lame talks. Say no to gossip. Say no to things that are irrelevant. And this ties in very perfectly with the next point, which is take stock of your time. When you sit down, you talk about lame things. Even in the Bible, there's a reference. You should not involve and engage yourself in idle conversation. Anything that will not make me better. I'm not interested. If you're coming around me and you're coming to gossip about Mrs. A, about Mr. B, I'm not interested. I want to be enriched. I want to get information that will empower me. And we waste a lot of time talking about nonsense. We waste a lot of time talking about other people. We waste a lot of time talking about things that are not working. We waste a lot of time talking about, and time is one thing you can never get back. If you lose your money, you'll get it back. If you lose anything you've lost in life, as long as you're alive, you can get it back. It may be late, but you can still get it back. But time lost is never found. Let's be wise. Let's be clever with the way we use our time. If you're coming to visit me and all your visit will bring for me is gossip and lame thoughts, lame conversation, I'm not interested. I would rather stay on my own. I would rather lay down on my bed and maybe read a paragraph or read a page of a book that will make me better, you know. So let's be mindful of how we use our time, and let's only invest those times in things that would make us better. The next point is for us to recognize that who doesn't love us doesn't need to love us. And not everyone will love you. That is a reality. That's the truth. Some people, like I said, will hate you from a distance. People will form their impression about you, even without seeing you, even without hearing from you. Even babies have enemies. It's okay. It's natural. You can never impress everybody, and we shouldn't be trying to. So understand that some people will see you and hate you. That's fine. But then so many people will go to any length to make you happy. So many people will go above and beyond to care for you. If I were you, I will focus on those ones. And this again goes back to what I said about guiding and protecting our mind. Let us live life deliberately. Let us live life consciously rather than by default. When you wake up in the morning, choose what you want to see. Choose what you want to think about. Choose to think about those people that support you. Choose to think about those people that validate you. Choose to think about those people that will look out for you and watch your back, and ignore your haters. Pretend you don't know they are there. You don't need to think about them. Tell yourself it's okay. You know, even Jesus had enemies. Who are you? Who are we? Who are we if the Son of God could be killed by who? His own people. How much more me and you? So let's ignore the haters. Let's move forward. Do not let anyone put you down. But be open-minded and understand that people can have their opinion. It's okay for anybody to think anything about anybody. It is up to us to accept that into our space. It is up to us to allow that into our space and allow it to impact on the lives we live. We need to be thriving. We need to be thriving. We need to be happy. We need to be succeeding. We need to only associate ourselves with things that glorify us, the things that make us happy, you know, because of what? Our own mental health. So this should have been my point number one. Put yourself first. Women, men, everybody. Charity begins at home. Put yourself first. Love yourself first. You don't earn anybody's respect by making yourself a doormat. No. And this is what we do too much every day. People struggle to impress. We struggle to be liked, to be loved, just for someone to say, oh, she's a nice person. It doesn't change your life. It doesn't pay your bills. That person will probably be saying a different thing when you turn around. That is human nature. People do not remember. Most people do not keep stock. They remember now, here and now. This is why people cannot remember what you've done for them 2 years, 4 years, 5 years back. The moment you're no longer able to do that thing, that favor you've always been known for, people will forget. Even in your families, even around your circle of friends. As long as you're no longer able to do this, is human nature. So rather than live your life trying to impress, trying to be loved, waiting for someone to say, oh, thank you so much. No. Put yourself first. Look after yourself. If there is 2 portions of food, have one before you give one out. If you don't have, don't give. It's as simple as that. Love yourself. When it is not convenient, say no. Put yourself first. Look after yourself. One book I read said, know your value. When you enter a shop and you see clothes hanging on the hangers, every one of them has a price tag. Know your price tag and add VAT. You heard me. Know your value. This is the only thing that will make someone else love you. If you don't love yourself, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't put yourself first, how can people respect you? It is hypocritical. People respect what has value. If you're common, if you are everywhere, if everybody can afford to have you, you are cheap, you have no value, people would not respect you. You have to be the driver as far as this is concerned. You have to tell people how to respect you. And this is not by being aggressive. This is not by fighting. This is not by jumping up and down. Oh, you have to respect me. Oh, you have to respect me. Oh, I am older. Oh, I am wiser. No, you don't even ask people to respect you. You live and you earn your respect. And what is the easiest way to do it? How you love yourself, how you look after yourself, the things you say no to. If somebody requests for something from you and it's not convenient, and you smile and say, you know what, my sister, I can't do this today. I talked about that. I don't want to dwell on that again. But say no and stay happy, and that person will respect you. That person will respect you better than someone who says, you know what, I will give you 20 pounds. They give you that 20 pounds and they tell the whole community, oh, all she does is go around and borrow money. Why do you have to tell people? You don't know how it is for that woman. She's asking you for money, but you have the right to say no and shut your mouth. You don't have to take her to town. So she would eventually hear the gossip, and she would even reduce whatever respect she has for you. So let's not bother about what people say. I've said this a million times. People will do whatever they want to. People will think whatever they want to. You don't live your life trying to get people on your side. Be yourself. You are here alone. You came alone, you will go alone. And when it is all said and done, people will still move on. So have the conviction, just like I talked about this whole new passion about YouTube. I had the passion for a long time. When I felt, you know what, the momentum is right, I ran with it. Let's be open-minded. Let's expect negative and positive criticisms. They're all fine. Let's tell ourselves that people will see us and hate us is okay, but some people will love us and will go extra mile for us. Let's put ourselves first. You know, it's all about you. You have the space, you have the right to tell people, not by shouting, I've said that, not by fighting, but by the way you lead your life. So guys, I hope this is beneficial. I just felt I should talk about this. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like, please share, and click the notification bell just so you know whenever I upload. Please let us grow this channel. I'm so desperate for this to continue to happen. Thank you so much. Anyone who's had their time, who's made out their, use their data to watch, to listen, and to tell another person about my channel. Thank you. May God bless you. Is your girl here, Jaden, and I look forward to seeing you in another video. Bye now.